What?
Okay, good. You can't hear it. That's good.
This is the CHRILLCAST Live. I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
And I'm Andrew.
And I didn't say I'm your host because, you know, I'm not the host with the mostest. These two guys have been pulling.
You're definitely the host with the mostest.
These guys have been pulling the slack.
We were measuring
I
before
can't
we
make
started, guys, so we know.
So what prompted this question? Like PC versus console, will PC ever take over? And really, real quick, before we dive into some serious conversation here, it's the fact that PlayStation, not just Xbox, but also PlayStation is taking the PC seriously, launching titles like SpiderMan onto the platform. Not right away, but still eating their cake and making, what is it? Getting their cake and eating it too.
Having their cake and eating it too.
That's right. I thought it was eating your cake and having it too. I don't know what the right way is.
Either way.
I think it's said both ways.
Right, but there's
definitely wrong.
One of them is definitely wrong, but I can't remember which way it's supposed to be. Anyways,
I think it's having your cake and eating it too.
Eating your cake and I don't actually.
No,
you know what?
It's having your cake and eating it too. I think.
I want to Google it now.
I think Andrew's right.
What is the correct phrasing of having your cake and eating it too?
I mean, it's how you just wrote it.
It's just fine. Let's just find out what it says. Have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah,
you're right. Have your cake, but you cannot eat your cake and have it. And have your. I guess it's both ways because technically speaking, they're both correct. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I know that I've seen it both ways.
I think the most common way is have your cake and eat it too.
Yep.
But I think the reason why I know it's been said both ways is because there was a really interesting documentary on the guy who used to send, we'll say, explosive packages in the mail.
Oh, I remember that. That's why I remember which one is proper.
And
there's a specific region in the country where they were saying it the
wrong
way. Or actually, no, I think the wrong way is actually the proper way, but it's not the common way of saying it.
Right. Anyways, either way, the only reason I've heard it both ways is because of that documentary. So it was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So long story short, yeah, PlayStation is now taking the PC road seriously and putting their stuff on PC as well as PlayStation.
SpiderMan on the PC. Very excited.
And so the question has arisen, is PC ever able to take the reins from consoles and actually dominate the market overall? Or will consoles always have a place in gaming?
I think that we're kind of already there where PC is just taking over. I mean, we see it with the Xbox. I mean, I know Andrew likes to talk about this all the time and really stick it in my ribs, but yeah, essentially that's what Xbox is now. So you just have a cheaper PC that sits under my TV, and eventually with that ecosystem that they're trying to build, it's just going to be the PC, and it's going to be some kind of streaming or something. And then it looks like PlayStation at least is thinking about it enough to put their games on it.
I think the big one, right? It's that you've seen it, the trend with the laptops. You know, you have that entry level laptop, and I think the console is going to eventually become that entry level PC tower that works with your TV. You don't really think of it as anything but a console, but it's basically a PC.
Now, I have one aspect of the market that I think demands that these companies continue to produce consoles, and the reason why consoles will still exist. And I think they may still dominate, especially when it comes to PlayStation and Nintendo. And that's because when you control the console, you control the marketplace. So like if Sony produces a console, all of the sales digitally or physically demand that PlayStation make money. When you launch your products on PC, then you don't control the marketplace. You can't control the value that you're getting out of it. So I think PlayStation and Nintendo, from a business standpoint, will always want to have a console on the market.
Well, I mean, they're always going to have a console. We're just saying that console is going to resemble an entry-level a gaming PC tower type of thing.
Oh, I mean, fair point. They're basically already there.
They're already there. It's just not something that's also professionally or academically beneficial to the user at this current moment, right? I know someone said that you could get Microsoft Word and shit on
You
the
can on the
new
Xbox.
but
Yep.
I mean, it just
Technically
kind of shows where
speaking,
it's going.
the
Yeah, well,
Xbox is
I'm telling
a
you,
PC.
the next, like the mid generation upgrade or whatever the next Xbox is going to be, they're just going to advertise Word being on it or Office on it. And then, the transition will be complete.
I
already
think you're
see
going to
the
have
first-
Windows. I think you're going to have essentially Windows Lite on the next Xbox.
Yeah,
because
well, I
I
mean,
don't
the
know why they
original
don't
Xbox
already.
was meant to have Windows, and then they weren't
Right.
able to get the architecture to work.
See, I already expect it to be where they advertise the next Xbox, where you're in a meeting for work, but you're actually playing a video game at the same time as you're in your Skype
Yes.
call, and
Uh-huh.
that's going to be what sells it.
They should
Work
have Jeffrey
from home.
Toobin be on there.
No. Let's not go. Let's not go there. That's a bad
like-
idea.
This is what you could be doing.
Oh no,
calls.
Sony. When Sony does that, they need to have it where they got the VR headset on too, and he doesn't know which meeting he's in.
No. Yes.
God.
I love
No.
that.
I'm not gonna go down that route. I mean, yes, it's fun to point. And
That
make
would
fun of
be an
people, but
amazing ad. You know,
That'd
how
be
many
an
things it would
amazing. Yeah,
sell?
that'd be perfect.
There already is an ad out there. It's more of a joke, but it's a guy forgets his Zoom thing is on and like pulls out a bottle of lotion. And everybody's like, no, stop.
All I know, the fact that SNL has not done a good skit on that,
I know, it's
it's so
ridiculous.
disappointing.
It's such an easy. The joke writes itself.
Yeah, it's
Right.
already funny.
It's already funny. All you have to do is give it some production value, and you have
Mhm.
like an instant classic.
It has some like kind of funny shocked faces, like, and then good. There you go. That's all you gotta do.
No,
You don't even
I
have
mean,
to show anything that's
No.
pertinent to what the video is going to
no,
be.
not at
Anyways,
all.
long
Chris,
story short, though, I
but
do
going
think
back-
that. Go ahead.
Going back to it though, it's like they're never going to give up the consoles, right? Because they're just going to dominate the low tier gaming PC market as the entry point for people who don't want to spend a ton of money or go through the hassle of building. And
But they'll still have custom OSs on there. Like, why would they not lock you down to their ecosystem? Because it would make no sense for them to allow you to buy Xbox games on a.
well, I mean,
PlayStation
they'll lock
console.
you down to their operating system, and it'll still probably play nice with other things. But I think the big takeaway is they need to have that control on hardware so that they can at least say what the base minimum performance is for games. That's the main reason someone like Sony is never going to give up a console, because it has so much beneficial aspects to your game studios.
I don't think we'll ever get to a point though where you have the PlayStation launcher, the Xbox launcher, and the Nintendo launcher on your PC.
I don't think Nintendo would ever do that, but I can totally see PlayStation, Xbox having launchers like that.
You have to remember too.
You
that
might.
Sony-
I mean, you might for their PC games. I'm just saying, like, you would never see the entire
No.
PlayStation brand condensed down to a launcher on a PC.
Didn't Sony has done PC games in the past? I forget what it was called, but didn't they have that one shooter that was pretty big online, like as an online shooter on PC at one point?
Are you gonna go back into Mag and make us?
No,
do that again?
it was a different one. It was like it's like a space. It's
Let me
like a
look.
future one. I forget what it's called, but it was a big deal because they brought it to I think they were trying to bring it to PS4.
Yeah, the sudden growth there, Andrew.
Are you talking about Galaxy?
Mhm.
Is that it?
Huh?
Is it Galaxy?
I don't remember, man. It was a big shooter. It was really popular.
I don't know. This doesn't sound like a big shooter. It's not even made by Sony. That's not it. That's definitely not it.
1 second. I'll look it up in the background. You guys can keep talking.
Sounds good. So as far as that goes,
Nintendo
Sony
would never do
Online
this 'cause
built-
Nintendo has to do their own thing.
is it PlanetSide 2? That might be it.
Maybe.
It says Sony Online built multi-continental worldwide enough sign.
I didn't know that Sony made that though. PlanetSide was a big series.
Sony Online built a multi-continental world wide enough for thousands of players and 3 factions to fight in air. Yeah, release it for free. They released it for free on PC. Apparently, that is a Sony game.
Yeah,
It
so,
was
I mean,
developed by
they've done
Rogue
stuff.
Planet Games. I don't know.
They've done stuff for PC before. That's why I'm saying
Yeah, now they have Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, and Spider-Man Miles Morales coming.
Okay, so that was one of my favorite quotes in Spider-Man No Way Home when he's talking to Andrew Garfield, and they
I
like
thought you were
kind of had
black.
like a little. I thought you were the. There's got to be a black Spider-Man somewhere.
Yeah,
I
he's
was
like,
like, oh yeah,
totally
Miles
fine with it. It's like,
Morales.
yeah, there's Black Spider-Man somewhere. Well, he actually technically Miles Morales does exist in
That
who's the new
universe,
Spider-Man?
that multiverse.
Whatever.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. Yeah, Tom Holland's character's universe. He does
Because
exist.
is he the one that the Spider-Man game is based on,
What do you mean?
or is it
No.
it based on a different Spider-Man?
No, Sony made their own completely.
That's what I
different
thought. So
continuity.
it's their own video game continuity.
Yeah.
Then. Okay, that makes sense. I really like No Way Home. That was a great way to bridge those three games.
Oh, I enjoyed it so much. I watched it twice.
That was a great movie. Andrew, if you're looking for a Marvel movie that's really well done, that one is one of them. That one is Doctor Strange being in it made so much sense.
Yeah,
it was well done.
I did see the new Doctor Strange movie.
I haven't. I'm not going to.
And it's too condensed. That's my really only complaint.
But speaking of Spider-Man coming to PC, how excited are you, Will? Are you excited enough to buy a gaming PC?
Oh, I would have bought it this week. I'm not even buying a gaming PC.
could have bought a PlayStation.
I wonder if Sony is inadvertently making Xbox players move to PC, and that's part of their strategy.
I don't know how, because I don't know how that really helps them any.
It gets people from.
It does help them.
It does, because if you don't buy an Xbox console, you're more likely to buy a PlayStation console. It gives you a little bit of a taste of what PlayStation has to offer, and maybe convinces you.
But the thing that I want taste of now, all three of the games I want are now on PC. So
it's not about what you want, Will. It's about what you might want in the future.
And if you're patient enough for that timed exclusivity.
Oh, I totally can be. I'm so far behind in my games.
I'm still playing The Witcher 2 on Xbox 360.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that game took me forever. Actually, for some reason, that one took me longer than the third one. So,
well, the third one I feel like is more streamlined, and the load screens are way shorter.
Yeah, well, everything loads so fast.
That's true. There's really no load screens on The Witcher.
I love playing Fable 3 on it because it's like instant loading, and it's like that was one of my biggest complaints was how long it took to load everything in that game.
Do you think the ambitious pause menu makes more sense on the Series X than it ever did?
Oh, it's so much better. Oh, it's like it's instant. I can get into those freaking rooms, and I actually see it's like it is faster than a normal menu now, so it's not nearly as terrible.
Yeah, because I know on the 360 they were a little over ambitious, and that's one of the reasons why I think Sony putting their games on PC 2 years later doesn't distract you from what the PS4 was able to accomplish and what the PS5 can accomplish, because even a high-end gaming PC is probably on par with the speeds of the Xbox Series X and PS5 just because they're optimized for gaming, whereas a PC can do lots of other things.
I'm just hoping that my laptop can still run it. I mean, it was a gaming laptop. I've had it for like 3 years now, I think.
It was a gaming laptop to begin with. I don't remember.
Yep.
I just always find it so distracting to do any gaming on my PC just because there's so many other things my PC can do. And I always find myself opening up like a search engine and looking something up or doing something else.
I think the interface is confusing. So like I play Xbox games. I don't know. Chris is crazy. But when I play Xbox games on my PC, I do get confused. So like the interface that they have for the Xbox launcher, whatever you want to call it, is so confusing to me because I wish it was just exactly the same as the one on the Xbox. That one makes sense.
I hate the PC Xbox launcher. It makes me want to rebuy all the games on Steam instead of even using it.
Well, it takes me so long to figure out how to even play the game or like get into the game or like invite a friend.
I really don't use Game Pass.
Yeah, I need to. Well, now that is Spider-Man coming to Steam?
I believe that's the only place PlayStation puts their stuff.
They're not going to be selling it on Xbox.
It's coming.
I wasn't sure if PlayStation is going to have their own thing now.
Hey, you could do Steam Link in your browser on your Xbox Series X and play your PlayStation games on your Xbox just for the giggles.
Yes.
You should
I'm going to be playing Spider-Man on my controller. I'm pretty pumped about it.
Yeah, your Duke should work if you want to use your Duke.
I've been using my Duke a lot. I realized that the cord is actually long enough to reach to my couch, and I have once I realized that, I was like, "Oh, I'm using this all the time."
You can use the HDMI. Use the HDMI on your laptop to play it on your TV.
Yeah, I guess I can do that.
That works.
That's what I would do if you want to play it on the big screen and pretend like you have a PlayStation.
I like it.
But going back to what you were saying earlier, Will, it totally is beneficial what Chris was saying for Sony to try to push people into the PC realm, because if you have a PC and you're buying you're still buying a console, then it just means that you're going to buy a Sony or a Nintendo. You're not going to buy Xbox because you already have the ability to play every
If
single
Sony
game
can
they have.
convince you to buy a PC and not buy an Xbox, it's a win.
Yeah, but you're probably going to buy Game Pass.
So that doesn't affect
that's what
Sony's bottom line.
That's what Xbox wants you to purchase. So you're not necessarily hurting. And like for me,
Sony
I already
wants
have the
your
Xbox.
exclusivity. Sony wants
and if they put it on PC, then I'm not buying PlayStation.
But here's the thing: Sony wants to dominate your TV console region, your TV stand. They want to be there. They want to be the hardware there, which is why I don't think that they'll actually get rid of. I find it hard to believe that they'll get rid of completely the disc drive, given the fact that everyone is still going to want to be able to play DVDs and own movies. Not always.
Oh, plus
not always
Sony owns
streaming.
Blu-ray. Like,
That
why would Sony ever push something that doesn't promote Blu-ray?
That's a good point. Why did they make a discless version?
Because they needed a cheaper one.
You can't compete with Xbox with no disc.
Yeah, I wish they just made like a Series S version of the PlayStation. That'd have been awesome.
It's a discless PlayStation 5.
It's still $400 though.
Well, here's the thing: them selling
it was
that
$100 cheaper.
The Blu-ray drive. The only reason they're willing to do that is because they have the PlayStation ecosystem on board, right? If they didn't have a good store on board with the PS5, there's no way they'd sell you a discless version. Right. Not a chance. Now, the reason why they have that is just to compete with the Series S. That's literally the only reason, because they don't save $100 by not including the Blu-ray drive. There's no way they save $100.
No. They're just doing it, though, to make it where you have to buy games.
Because somebody willing to pay $400 for a PS5 is going to be, like, if they were even considering getting a Series S or a PS5, that at least gives them a lesser dent in the wallet to convince somebody to buy that instead, right?
Well, let's be honest too. If they're buying the discless version, they're committing to buying every game digitally from Sony. The overhead on the games that they're buying is going to be lower. They're going to have they're going to be buying hardware to make it where they can store all those games on it. They're going to then have to buy their old games new if they want to play them on it, depending on how they're doing it. So if they're needing to trade in the PS4 to get that PS5, so they're now going to get, there's going to be more money on the back end, right? Someone else is going to buy the PS4. They're going to have to buy the games again.
Yeah.
If they want them. So Sony's gaining more than $100.
They made a business decision and basically said, this is going to work, even though we're giving you more for less.
Yeah, so it looks at face value like maybe a bad decision, but anyone they convince to buy it, especially with the supply crunch, is going to make Sony more money than
it has sold really poorly, though, hasn't it?
That's because everyone wants the disc version.
Yes.
Well, honestly, Sony's not looking to make more discless versions. There's a reason why they've stuck by the disc version and made more of those. It's A, demand is there, and B, the console traditionally, the Blu-ray player is free essentially to Sony because they own the technology. Like, that's basically a freebie they get.
And ever since PlayStation PS5 3,
Chris.
Repeat that.
Look at the PlayStation 5 as we're talking. I just want to look at the pictures.
Yeah, and ever since it was okay. If you look at it, though, it does look like it was designed to not have a disc.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
But that doesn't mean that the designer who created the actual, like, the artistic vision of the PS5 is the same person who made all the engineering decisions.
Yeah. But the thing is, ever since PlayStation 3, that Blu-ray player has been one of the biggest selling points on PlayStation. So it's like,
I'm looking for an image that shows all of it.
It'd be silly to get rid of it long term.
Like, I agree with you that the hump doesn't look legit, but I will say an engineer and an artist see differently. They don't always see eye to eye. So keep that in mind when you're taking that, don't take it at face value that wasn't ever intended to be there.
I will say they have this like beautiful magenta PlayStation 5 controller at the GameStop by me, and every time I see it,
That's
I
the one
want
I
to buy
got.
it.
Ask
I got
Andrew
it.
how much he likes
I
that
love it.
color
I was upset though by the marketing. I don't like
because
the
it said it was
marketing of the
red,
color.
right?
It said it was red, and it's not red.
It's
Yeah,
magenta.
no, it definitely isn't red.
Yeah, it's labeled as red, but it's a magenta. So I'm
Mhm.
just upset that it's.
No, I totally
clear,
get that. Yeah, if I had
yeah.
bought that thinking it was gonna be red, no, I'd been pissed.
I mean, I prefer the color to red, but I'm
Mhm.
upset about the
No, yeah.
false color
Mhm.
scheme. Just like they call the one blue, but it's like baby blue.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry, it's annoying.
Yeah.
It'd be
So
like buying forest green, and it's that bright neon green. It's like, ugh.
I'll give you another reason why I think consoles and PC intermingling is going to take a lot longer and a lot more work than what we probably are discussing so far. And it's well, this is a bad example of but controllers. There's a lot of people that hardcore love controllers, right? There's a reason why retro gamers still prefer their specific console controller, right? But I will say, in the defense of PCs, all of these like retro inspired new consoles, like for example the retro USB AVS, is an FPGA. It's basically a mini computer that's programmable for older console cartridges.
Oh, so speaking of controller, this is totally an aside, but is the SNES Classic, is there a delay in that controller?
Are you asking me specifically because I've used it?
Yes.
I don't notice the SNES Classic, not the.
Yeah.
I have the Super Nintendo Online controller,
Okay.
which you have the
I-
one that's programmed for the Wii connection.
I have that, but I also have the Super Nintendo Classic
yeah.
controller.
No, I
So-
think the delay is the emulation.
Okay, I bring that up because when I played on that, I have a horrible time with Donkey Kong, but when I played on the Switch, I'm crushing it. I'm just curious what the difference is.
Well, for one, they based the Switch emulation on the SNES Classic and then improved it.
Okay.
So likely it is the processing speed of the emulation on the SNES Classic versus the processing speed of the Switch in the emulation. And
Okay.
they've constantly improved and upgraded it, which is a reason why a lot of the retro gaming community has moved to emulation on PC, specifically for that reason. You can get higher end computers all the time, get the emulation faster and better, and the processing speeds are insane. But
the emulation's almost always better on PC.
Who likes retro gaming on physical products, the FPGA that I have sitting over here that does my NES, the retro USB AVS, is a perfect solution where I can use my original carts, my original controllers, and have it play at full speed in HD.
So Chris, why wouldn't they just make support for controllers? I don't understand why.
I know what I'm saying is innovation in controller design is driven by consoles. It's not driven by PC usually. The closest thing you got to that was the Steam controller.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's if you have a market for it, right? It's all about a market. So even if you went to that initial like gaming setup, right? Like a gaming PC introductory setup, you're still going to have a market for controllers. You just have maybe even more third-party controllers being built.
And then the next question I have for you guys, what do you think the Steam Deck does? Because it adds control support to a lot of Steam games. No. I like forget the fact that you don't think it's going to sell well. Just leave that outside. Just as far as innovation with PC gaming goes, how far do you think the Steam Deck will push it?
I mean, it's going to be a better Switch. I'll admit that. I think it's going to be a better Switch. So, but it's a question, right?
Yeah.
How well is it going to sell when?
I know it's been sold out the whole time it's been available.
Yeah, but
there's like
but everything is sold out, right?
I guess I'm just curious. Really, I'm excited for you to get it because I actually am curious about what niche it does take. Like, okay, someone playing The Witcher on the go. I see it. I can see it.
Well, not only that, but there's a ton of other games that I've always wanted to play on the go that never came to the Switch.
Now I can play SpiderMan on the go. I didn't consider that before.
I think it's gonna.
SpiderMan might run.
I think if you have to say, okay, I can tell you what niche market it's going to be. It's going to replace the gaming laptop potentially.
Well, for sure, gaming netbooks and laptops will be consumed partially by the Steam Deck. I mean, there will still be utility there, where somebody will buy a gaming laptop specifically for the portability of office and those kinds of things. But somebody who bought a gaming laptop just for gaming, yeah, it'll replace
I
that.
think it's just going to replace the gaming, like the specific gaming laptop. That if you had put me under the gun and tell me to make a prediction, it's like I think that's what the prediction has to be.
This is my favorite picture for the Steam Deck.
Also, prior to you switching the screen, I was up to say that the black PS5 is so much better looking than the white one.
Oh, by far, like, that was the whole reason I never pre-ordered a PS5. Was like I know they're coming out with a black model at some
Do
point.
they have those yet?
Sony is not selling it. They're selling official panels to change it to a black one, but they're like I think $50 or $100.
So stupid.
It's like, yeah, you could sell your white panels, I guess.
They did it so they could sell black panels. That's the whole reason. I'm convinced
Hello,
of
Demi
it.
Crow. What's going on, man?
Do you know what never sells well? The white PS, whatever, console. Because
Oh, you're totally right about that.
it's always the thing that they release like 2 years later, and they're always like,
No, the PS5 and the PS2, they released it right away. And
did they release the white one right away for the PS4?
The white one or the black one?
The white one.
Oh yeah, no. With the PS4, they had a white PS4 right away. It was limited edition though.
Okay. It was limited edition because he only sells limited. That's the reason.
That's a fair point.
It doesn't match anything on your your TV stand when it's
and it's not
white.
like it's not even a cool conversation piece. Or it's electric blue or something, but no.
It's just kind of.
That's what I hated about the original Xbox 360. I was so pissed it was white, so I waited until it was black.
I totally hated that one when it was white.
Yeah, so there actually is a black PS1, by the way. Did you know that?
Yeah.
It's the Net Yerosi. It's like a developer unit. It's very expensive because you can do a lot of cool stuff with it. And I think there might be a themed black PS1.
See, and the thing too, like the PS5 needs to be black. Like it literally does.
You said that just made me laugh.
It needs to be. It needs to be 100% because it's a boat. It's a massive.
Black is a very slimming color.
Yes. Mm-hmm. When you look back, why does the PS5 look even more? I mean, besides the fact that it is, as we've discussed previously, significantly greater in size than the PS4. It's even
also
bigger
way bigger
than the PS3.
Yeah, it is.
The Fat Boy PS3. It's so much much slimmer. It's so much slimmer looking, and when you make it white, it just looks so much larger. It's not even funny.
It really does.
And every single previous console of Sony's has always looked sleek and slim, regardless of how big it is. Mm-hmm. But this one is the first one that just doesn't feel that way. Also, the black controller looks so much better.
I do like the black controller a lot.
Yes.
So it's just like, this is just me having a mini rant here about that because, and it's kind of weird that we're having this conversation about it like being like a introductory PC. Look at it; it's basically a PC tower the way it's been built.
Yep,
that's where the consoles they're heading to PC. Like, let's be honest, the components inside of a PC and a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X are like the same thing.
Yeah.
They have gone from a very specific architecture that you see in like the PlayStation 3 with that very creative architecture, the cell processor and all that fun stuff, to basically straight up PCs.
Yeah, and when you
they have singular purpose, and that makes it play games much easier.
It can be optimized.
Exactly, you can optimize.
But when you look at that thing, right? It's almost I'm partially convinced they made the thing so dang big you can't put it in the stand, like in your TV stand.
That way you won't have the airflow issues.
Yeah, I'm not. If someone told me that was part of their design, I would not be surprised. That you had to put it outside like it was a PC tower or something. I would believe it because that thing is not optimally shaped.
Can't put it in your pocket, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, the more you look at it, yeah, it does look like the disc was not supposed to be part of the architecture, but it still looks good. Especially when it's black. I think it's less obtuse when it's a black slimming one.
Yeah.
I have told Will, you know this. I will not buy a non-black console unless there's like no other options. Like with the NES and the SNES, like I will buy the gray version.
I mean, I'm willing to buy the panels.
Are you going to?
No, not for $100-something at this
I don't
point.
think they're that expensive, are they?
Well, fine. You just said like $150.
Yeah,
Let's find out.
That's exactly what he said.
Don't.
No,
He's
said
trying to
50,
gaslight me into like,
yes,
they're
he
not
is.
that
I
expensive.
said
Why are you bringing this?
$50 to $100. I did not say $150.
Yeah, well, he said 100, and you're like, that's not how much they are. So he's still correct that you
Right.
said that.
He set me up to be like, oh, you're bringing some crazy numbers here.
$55.
Actually, I might get the magenta color.
Yeah.
That actually looks kind of good.
I would totally get the magenta. That kicks ass.
That's funny. All right, here we go. Shop directly from PlayStation. All right, wait a second. There we go. Explore the custom covers. All right, let's see what we got here.
Shit, I would do
I think
the
they said
purple one.
$55.
No, the magenta is so much better than the purple.
All right, so you got they're
Okay,
$55.
$60. I could consider it. Where's the black one? They didn't
Uh,
sell
where's
the
the
black
black
one.
Hold on. These are the new colors coming.
Yeah.
Those are new colors. Those aren't the
Okay, because
the
I didn't
colors.
even see the magenta, and that one actually looks nice.
Let's see. PS5 accessories. Let's find out. It's
That
fine
or a
now.
forest green would be pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's all of the colors. Let's find out.
Okay.
And you got the disc drive version, right?
Yeah,
Oh, is it cosmic red? Is that the color?
yeah,
Yeah, I would
It's
I would
not
get
red.
that.
That's 55. Yep, there's cosmic
it's
red.
magenta.
Yeah,
There you go.
magenta.
There's black.
I love how they have
$55.
this. I love how they have the disclaimer: console not included.
Oh, the black is out of stock. Who
Yeah,
would
of
have
course
guessed?
it is, because it's so much better looking.
It totally is. It's like there's not even comparison. Like you can't even compare.
Click on the magenta one to.
Really, you really want the magenta one? Are you sure?
I'm willing to consider it. It's not sold
I would
out.
totally
I
get
will
the magenta
say,
one.
PlayStation going this customization route is totally a PC move.
Well, they sued someone that was doing it like a third party, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was D-brand.
I don't know. That's actually not a bad color. When you have the controller and you can see what it looks like in person, it's not a bad color.
No, like every time I
I
see the
totally am
controller, I
gonna
want
look
it.
for the clip of you complaining about the magenta color from a
No,
previous
my
thing and put
complaint
them
is
together
that
in
it
the
was
future.
labeled as red. It's not
Cosmic
red.
red, not red.
I don't care. It's still red.
Yep.
That's not a red. That's a magenta. It's like a maroon. It's not. It's
There you go, Will.
more
This
of
is
a
this is a
purple than
color
a
for
red.
you, Will. Starlight blue.
No,
I take the
hate
blue
that.
as well.
I hate that. No, trust me, it's way worse in person.
Actually,
Yeah, I
here's
haven't seen the
here's
blue.
Spawnwave's color. This is what Spawnwave needs to get. He loves his purples, doesn't he?
I would do the purple too. But the magenta is the only one I've actually seen, and I actually really like that color. So
Now, the only one of these plates that's worth $55 is this one. The black.
Yeah, I would buy it. I'm not gonna lie.
You can't now. It's sold out.
But obviously, I'm gonna have to wait.
let's stop talking
years.
about this and talk about if they're going to make a Fable limited
So-
edition Xbox.
Here's the rub. All right, here's the question I have for you guys. So all of this customization leads me to believe that in the future, a lot of consoles will have replaceable parts like PCs. What do you guys think about that?
The PlayStation already basically does.
Well, think about hard drives. They haven't gotten to the point where you can literally swap out a motherboard.
True, but they're already 75% of the way there now with how they're treating it. Like, you're able to customize the shell, you're able to customize the memory, you're able to customize pretty much anything you actually want.
We're headed to the era of automaker levels of customization for your consoles. You want the disc drive? Oh, add $50. Oh, you want the Midnight Black? Add $50.
Can they sell me a leather seat too for my gaming chair?
Yeah, well,
You
remember
want
that? What was
you want the
that?
custom
Can I get the
PlayStation
massage?
seats?
Can I get the massagers in it too?
You remember a few years ago, Google came out with a phone where you could it was modular like that, where you would pick.
That never came out.
No,
Oh, it didn't.
No, it was
Oh.
too expensive.
if you want
and
to
too
know the
difficult
one
to
that
use.
was almost the thing that didn't end up being a thing, it was Razer had the modular PC concept,
Yeah,
which
I
is
remember
really
that.
the way to go. I wanted to see that built.
I know what you're talking about, though, Will.
Yeah, I don't remember. Oh, so I remember the concept for the phone too, and even Razer, I think, has tried to come out with one.
They were supposed to create the. Yeah, this is it right here. It had like all kinds of the Ara Project Ara. That's right.
Well,
Where
I
you
see
could
it's
have
for
like.
sale. My. Oh, this is a Pixel. Never mind. Sorry.
No. It was going to be
no.
$100 for the base piece, and you would buy each module piece. But it turns out it wasn't. There was no way to really do it correctly. And then when Google spun off Motorola, I think they sold them to Lenovo. Then they ended up killing the whole project.
Okay.
But that's what happened.
Check out that Razer PC, because that thing was actually really cool looking. Their concept.
There is something like that in the PC space for consoles, especially retro consoles. It was the was a modular tower where you could have like a ton of different emulation stations essentially hooked up. I'm trying to remember.
I kind of hope they don't do that with consoles because I feel like that's going to get really competitive and really stressful really fast.
I'm trying. Well, no, this was a super simple solution. I think OEB Pete before he left YouTube was doing stuff on it. Tomahawk, is that what it was?
No. There was a whole concept where it was like, it was weirdly shit. You'd have to like go to the images. Go to images.
Razer modular
PC
project. It's not program project. Oh, is it this?
It's that one.
Project Christine. Okay.
I believe the little image looks like. Yeah,
oh no, I remember that. That was pretty neat, actually. It was like a modular tower. You could add like graphics cards, just plug and play.
Mm-hmm.
And did they never finish it or
never built? I don't think.
That is really cool.
It's still on Razer.com. It's still there.
It was copyright 2017.
Yeah, they've never built it. That's just their concept.
They've also got Project
It's literally
Sophia.
the coolest. That's the coolest concept for a modular PC that I can think of.
Whoa! What on earth is this?
Oh,
first modular gaming desk concept.
Oh, well, I'll never buy that. I would never be able to do the all touchpad.
Magnetic hot swappable modules. This is the same idea, basically. Except like more.
Remember when laptops used to have a little nubbin like in the middle of the keyboard?
I hate that thing.
The nubs, the laptop nubs.
I hate the nubs.
Thank God that went the way of the dinosaur.
You know how jittery that thing always was? It was so awful.
It was terrible.
Yeah, this is pretty cool, actually.
So it's shiftable. Everything's shiftable.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Next gen OLED display.
It's supposed to be a whole table.
Yeah.
So this is almost geared towards board gamers.
No. It's made for like streamers and like hardcore.
Or that too. Yeah.
See, here's what a creator would have. They got like
where's the work from home? I like the work from home one.
Digital planner, productivity launcher, 15-watt wireless charger for your phone, beverage warmer.
Wait, that's funny.
Privacy control, team communication module. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
I feel like they need to make it a little cooler. Gear it towards board gamers.
That'd be cool.
Make it like a board gaming table.
I will say the fact that the PC is so customizable is intriguing to me, but then I look at the cost, and the cost of entry into PC gaming or even anything PC related is always higher on the onset than a console will ever be. Like I can't build a gaming PC for less than I can buy a Series X or a PS5, a good gaming PC for less than I can buy those consoles for.
Yeah, but like at what point do the consoles, I mean, they're already expensive. At what point do they just bridge that gap on their own and just say, we're going to do things that PCs can as like a selling point?
Like what if PlayStation launched their own Office products? Like, I don't know. I think if you're
buying they just make it where they can play, or they can do things with Office.
That's what I'm saying. Office. Like they're going to build their own Office subscription or product service or something.
No, why not just use Microsoft's? They can.
Well, Microsoft could. I'm asking you, what's Sony going to do?
Why can't Sony use it?
Why would
As
they
long
want
as
to use
why can't they use Google's? Why
They would
why can
never use Google's. There's a reason why none of the PlayStation on PC titles are streaming on Google.
Okay, my point is there's no why wouldn't they partner with Apple for Apple Pages or whatever?
The Sony and Apple
Why-
partnership makes way more sense than Sony and Microsoft.
Why wouldn't they just partner with any? There's plenty of Office software out there. It's not like
But
there's a shortage.
Sony already kind of tried the whole PC on console thing with the Linux other OS.
Yeah, they're open to it, but the
They
market
were
wasn't
open
there.
to it.
No, they probably
were
still
open
are.
to
The
it.
market wasn't there.
But I think Linux makes more sense. You remember we talked about this. PlayStation and Steam makes the most sense for a partnership.
Yeah, but okay, Chris, the thing that I'm saying is the reason there's hesitancy at all for this direction from Sony is apparent in the fact that they've had the most expensive console every generation
And
because
still
they
made
tried
money.
because they try but they try to pack so much into it, and everyone complains that they're the most expensive one.
And they still buy it.
Technically, Xbox was most expensive last generation.
That is
Okay.
a fact.
That's true, but I'm saying like with
Yeah, it was
PS3,
terrible.
they put the Blu-ray player in it. Everyone
Yeah.
complained that like Sony has never shied away from adding functionality that people aren't even necessarily asking for. The question to them is always going to be, are we going too far for the price point that everyone's going to just revolt against us and buy our competitors? So it's like
Which they found out with the PS3 that yes, people were willing to revolt and buy the Xbox 360
until everyone
because
realized that was the
technology.
cheapest Blu-ray player on the market.
No, that's a fact. But what I'm saying is when you look at the PS3, it was a good study on how much higher of a price can you go without destroying your market.
And that was
I
only
think
an
Sony
initial
found
one,
out.
though. That was only initial.
Because I think the high end Xbox 360 was like 400. The mid tier arcade or whatever was like 300.
Okay,
And then
but
you
can we
had-
agree that the PS3 was better?
From a technical standpoint, I will agree that the PS3 was a superior console, especially when you look at the fact that the military built like a cell processing unit with like 500 PS3s and was able to do supercomputing tasks. Was it? Yes.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, the PS3 was the superior tech.
But I guess my point too is that like PlayStation 3 didn't it still outsell the Xbox in the long life cycle of it?
Well, yeah, they kept selling it longer than the Xbox 360 was sold. So eventually, yeah, they overtook them.
But I guess my point is that it was really given the dominance of the PS2 and everything. Yes, the PS3 had a revolt in the initial period of release, but people eventually realized it's the cheapest Blu-ray player on the market, and at the same time they can get their gaming console. So it was like people started shifting to it.
I think when you look at the PS3, it's really the reason why Sony went from building their own version of their own architecture of technology of processing to PC-based gaming machine.
Yeah,
that was the developing the cell architecture was very expensive.
Not just that, but they also had issues with games like Skyrim, which would cause people to revolt. So
yeah, that save function was horrible.
Yeah, they had to make it where it played much better with everything else on the market, specifically PCs.
Well, now Sony doesn't have to worry about Bethesda games, so who cares? I guess the next question that I would lead into with that is, at what point does Xbox actually merge PC and Xbox gaming? Do you think we're there?
This is their last. This is their last console.
Yeah.
This is the last console. They're trying to become Netflix of games.
I think they might still have like a set-top box or something, so I can just say
they're going to launch
still
a Chromecast thing. Did you see that news? They're going to launch their own like Chromecast xCloud.
No, bring it up. I didn't see that.
I did not see it either. That just confirms to me that this is the last console they're doing.
Well, I know they're trying to get an app on like Samsung TVs, where it's just like the Xbox Game Pass app.
Here's the thing: if this is, I feel like this is 100% them going to war with
Google.
with Steam.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even Xbox said that PlayStation and Nintendo were no longer their competitors.
Okay,
Which
here's
means
a
they're no
here's a
longer
comment
trying to
real
sell
quick.
consoles.
Yep.
Says leaks say real next gen 1,000 times more powerful than what we have now. It'll begin like PS3, like console, but much better. And then they also say cell itself wasn't the problem, but they hadn't any tools ready like PC had since ever. That's I think I know what they're saying the dev tools weren't that great for cell architecture. And I do believe the Sony rushed the cell architecture to market because they were running out of development money that was allotted for the PS3. So instead of creating dev tools, they continued to work on the cell architecture until it was ready. And it was pretty much ready for market when it came out. There wasn't a whole lot of hitches or issues. Now, I think the main thing was, and if you read into it, Sony was assuming that since they dominated PS1 and PS2, that automatically they would dominate the market with the PS3, regardless of how hard it was to build. And they underestimated developers being okay with exactly, because it was easier to do a PC game and then port it to 360 than it was to do a PC game and port it to the PS3.
Sony didn't realize that the PC was still king. I think that was the part of the problem.
Well, you develop for PC first and then you port.
Yeah, which is what they thought they were big enough to take on PC.
But the problem is that when you try, like, developers have PCs.
Yeah.
And so they're going to develop on PC first. And when you provide developer hardware for consoles, they're still going to develop for PC first because a lot of their engines start on PC.
Also, this thing that you brought up, codenamed Keystone, it's just the PlayStation Vita streamer thing. That's all it is.
It's the same idea, yeah.
Same thing.
But the PS TV actually played physical games. Like, you could plug it in. And maybe this will have some download space, but it won't have nearly enough processing unit to do.
Well, I'm just saying it's taking that concept and making it into basically a Fire Stick.
Yeah, exactly. That's
all they're doing.
Yep.
So they're just trying to make it where, they're eliminating their console. That's all like. They're just going to eliminate building consoles, and
I don't think they'll stop making consoles, but I think Will's more onto it when they say there might be an Xbox gaming tower in the next gen.
I would bet my money that the Xbox console, as you know it, might be gone, and they might just have a Surface tower.
I don't know. The Surface tower makes no sense. It'll be an Xbox desktop or something. The Xbox branding will be all over whatever they make.
I don't know. I think they'll merge it. I do think they'll merge it into the.
I think they'll compete with Alienware and whatever other gaming PCs are out there and have an Xbox laptop, or the Xbox Surface maybe, and then they'll have an Xbox desktop.
Yeah, I just think that they're going to make a tower. That's all I think they're going to do. I don't know exactly how they brand it. It might be the Surface X. I see it being a tower because that's the one thing they currently don't have.
Is a tower.
Is the tower. So if they were to just build a tower and eliminate the Xbox, but it's about the same price point, I see that happening because they already have the cheap Surface laptop, which isn't really much of a Surface itself. So
I know people that have that and they really like the Surface laptop, but it is extremely expensive for what it is.
Yeah. So it's like I see them doing the same thing with the Xbox. I think it's going to become it's just going to become a tower.
Yeah, I think that's the Xbox Series X is a good transition from affordable gaming console to desktop tower because it'll be so easy to go from the Series X to and the fact that they use series in the naming, in the nomenclature, tells me there's going to be a series of consoles or desktops in the future.
Yeah, the X isn't even the main part of it. It's Series X.
Right.
So they're already
moving the Series E, where we can have the SEX.
Well, then I had to buy all three.
So you can have.
It's gonna be the white
this is the E. This is the E right here, the Keystone. Series E, the E streamer. That seriously, Phil Spencer, you need to do this. It needs to be the Series E.
What they need to do is make this both white and black, and then be like the Series S and X had a little baby.
What?
It's
like it looks like an Oreo, like the
Yes.
like the inverted PS5. Okay.
No, but they're they're at war with Steam more than anything.
And that's why Steam went and did the Steam Deck, to just show Microsoft, like, hey, we can make all these things work on Linux day one.
Yeah, but they don't need. It's not even that. I don't think. Do you think Microsoft really thinks that they're like Steam's unable to compete without them? Like, I think it's more of a content war. That's why they're doing these acquisitions the way they are. It's about content. It's about they're trying to build a mutually assured destruction thing with Steam, so that it's like, Steam, you have to play how we want you to play right now.
To keep like Bethesda on there, and to keep Halo on there.
Did you see that they're putting Call of Duty on
Bethesda's
Steam?
Going to be huge.
Call of Duty's coming to Steam?
Yeah.
Huh? Is it via EA Play, or is it just going to be sold directly?
Well, it's not EA. I mean,
it's not EA.
Activision.
Oh, Activision! My goodness! Wow. Sorry about that.
I don't know. Look it up. I just saw the article like yesterday or the day before.
That was wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. That was not.
That was bad.
Good. My brain is not there. I got newborn syndrome.
You need to whip yourself now.
Go shame.
Okay. Call of Duty. So Call of Duty has never been on Steam?
I don't think so.
Apparently not. I don't know.
Honestly, yeah, that's exactly how I thought. I was like, apparently they've never been on Steam.
Call of Duty returning to Steam. So apparently Call of Duty was not on Steam for a while. Maybe there was an Activision launcher with Warzone.
Maybe.
Modern Warfare 2 worldwide reveal set for June 8th. Okay. I guess it is coming back to Steam.
Yeah, so Microsoft is just building up their library, their catalog. Yep. Watch them buy Ubisoft, watch them buy... Let's see who they buy next. Because I doubt they don't have enough to truly compete with.
They're going to buy Embracer at some point, I'm telling you.
Battle.net. Okay, so they were using the Blizzard launcher, Battle.net.
Do you guys, do you think they're going to be successful with this this route? Because it just seems.
So so here's something interesting. I did see that one of the reasons why Microsoft wanted Activision Blizzard was for the Battle.net launcher. They wanted to see like what their launcher looked like versus Microsoft, because Battle.net actually survived Steam's existence versus other launchers because Battle.net was the only way to access, I think, World of Warcraft, a lot of Activision games.
I mean, that's just because Activision had a good catalog. It's not.
They just wanted Candy Crush so they could make the equivalent of a Halo game every couple months. Literally, the Candy Crush is the highest grossing game that Activision
has. I know it is.
It's amazing how much money.
Game with women. So there you go.
It is funny how much money a game like Candy Crush grosses every single year.
Mm-hmm.
It grosses
to your point, or to your question, Andrew, I think right now they're failing hardcore because they're not launching shit. Like all their games are getting pushed. There's nothing unique coming out. There's a couple of interesting games, but if they're gonna have these long gaps, and then like I'm worried, like next year they're just going to be inundated with games.
Well, because I think they're not. I think they're just focused on buying. I think they're just focused on buying third-party developers IP right now. Yeah. They're like, and they're taking advantage of the shortage of consoles to just
Game Pass, the existence of Game Pass, push people to PC gaming or Xbox consoles?
PC.
You think so? Because I think it probably brings people to consoles. There's more titles available on the console than there are on PC.
Not much now with the cloud gaming.
Well, with cloud gaming does change things, but I don't think cloud gaming pushes PC. I think cloud gaming pushes like that set-top box that we were just looking at.
I see it as pushing PC more than console, just because why get the console?
I think Microsoft would rather us all have little streaming boxes like Google wanted to do and pay for Game Pass and not produce a console. I think that'd be Microsoft's ideal situation.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, their consoles have never been as good. Let's be honest.
Yes, they have.
No.
Are you
I don't know what
kidding
you're
me?
talking about.
I love
No,
the
I'm
360.
saying fine. Technologically,
The
they
OG Xbox is
competed, but it's
one
not.
of the greatest machines to ever come out because it, like, when you look at the modding community surrounding the Xbox, clearly that console had more power than anything else that gen.
Well, the original Xbox was more powerful.
Wasn't it later in the cycle anyway that it came
It
out?
released a year or two after the PS2.
Yeah,
I think it was
so
1
that
year.
doesn't count. It's like a mid.
Well, then the
Okay,
PlayStation
then the
doesn't
PS3
count.
doesn't count. It was a year after the 360.
Yeah.
What's your point?
One
Boom.
fine.
You can't
Right,
say that.
Andrew. Shut up. PlayStation fanboy, get off this podcast.
Fine. All I'm saying is that I just think this is a bad route, but they want to be Netflix of video games. That's all.
Yeah, it depends on what they're trying to do. Like they clearly don't care about the console. I think the thing is, it's not that they don't care about the console. It's not their focus. I think they'll keep it around if it sells Game Pass for them. It's the moment that they don't need it to sell Game Pass, then they won't have it.
If you have an Xbox console right now, you probably have Game Pass.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think it's going to sell I don't think it's going to sell the consoles. Just like it's not going to be good for the development of games either.
No, I think Game Pass is horrible for development of games.
I think Game Pass eliminates the drive to innovate completely
and to even complete games on time.
Yeah, it's going to be like the day one patch on steroids.
Do you know how much time, like, if you look at the innovation of Game Pass and like how much time it's given, like, to devs, extra time, like the hope of a game coming in the future keeps people subscribed to Game Pass. So like, let's just say Fable's in development hell. I'm not saying it is, but let's just say it is. If it's in development hell and people want Fable and they're paying for Game Pass for the hope of a Fable game coming out in the future, then that keeps people strung along. And if Fable ever comes out and it's bad, that Game Pass subscriber is going to leave. But if it keeps going through like promise, eventually coming out, we got a Molyneux situation, then that person's going to keep subscribing.
If all they're waiting for is Fable, why would they stay subscribed? Why not cancel until Fable comes out?
Some people will. I'm saying that
a lot of people are lazy about it. They signed up because of Fable, and they keep hearing it's coming out next month.
But if you find out that Fable is bad, then that subscriber is gone.
Yeah, I guess
that's what I'm saying.
I guess my problem is when you're doing this streaming thing, it's no longer going to be based on the capability of the console. So it's going to eliminate the console inherently. The console's not going to get a lot of support because it's not the focus. Being able to play games, they're going to get rid of the person who plays games offline. That's who they're trying to get rid of because they've never been part of their plans at Xbox.
Look at that jerk of a guy who said, well, we have a console for people who play offline, the Xbox 360.
Yeah, basically. Then you have
I got one finger for that guy. Let's put it that way.
Then you have the fact that the games themselves, it's going to be, look at how Netflix movies have got, like, not movies, some of the movies have been good, but like TV series and stuff. No, because they've been trying to compete for awards. So they've made some pretty high budget movies.
They have. Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. So but that's because they're driven to compete for awards. But when you look at TV shows, look at how much garbage Netflix throws on there too. There's no value added to them except like there's like one or two games one or two TV series, I guess, the equivalency that gets all the focus and are pretty like big pulls, but I don't know. I see it being weirder for the gaming community.
I think streaming will never take on with hardcore gaming audiences, and will. Oh my goodness! If you're looking at the private chat right now, Andrew, you'll understand. Okay. Here's what I have. Don Matrick, right? That's the name.
Yes.
Anyways, that guy was all about DRM, online always. And honestly, when you look at Game Pass, what does Game Pass do to the gaming industry? Don Matrick's the guy that announced the Xbox One with the DRM, and you're being unable to trade in games, and how Xbox is an entertainment machine and not actually a gaming machine. There's a lot of things that were bad for, and then the Kinect always on thing where people are like, I don't want a camera always
Creepy.
watching me. But here's the thing. I do think the Kinect did some interesting things, and I think that was one of the most interesting things Xbox ever did. I'm not saying it was it was more of a novelty, and some of the games were really good, but it was the most interesting thing that Xbox ever did. Now, long story short, where I'm going with this whole rant is that Game Pass as a service lowers the bar for devs to get things done on time, but also drives people to not own games. It drives you to be subscribed to a service where you have access to games as long as you're paying, and it prevents you from wanting to go to a service like Steam and spend additional money on games that you can't get on the service, which is why I think Andrew says this is a direct competition with Steam.
Also, something you're forgetting too is the Game Pass player is never going to be the focus of developers, not PC developers. They won't be the focus because they're not marketing to the gamer on Game Pass. They're not buying games from them.
Oh, I mean, yeah, the developers.
If Microsoft wants their game on there, it's not going to matter about the individual player's desires. You're not going to be the market that they're marketing to.
I mean, unless they just shove a bunch of microtransactions in that service.
Well, here's my question: what are mods going to even be a thing on this?
No, Game Pass drives.
Purely
Yeah, you're
streaming.
right.
Huh.
Well, I mean, there is mods on some games. I mean, I haven't played all of them, but Master Chief Collection has mods now on Xbox as well as PC.
On Xbox? Does it?
Mm-hmm.
With Game Pass?
Yes.
You're not if you're purely streaming this thing to like a streaming.
Game Pass is not purely streaming. I think you're missing the point. Game Pass allows you to download games.
No, but the Keystone thing.
xCloud does not.
Oh, the xCloud, yeah.
Yeah, the move is. But let's be honest, the move is to cloud.
Yeah,
that's what Xbox would ultimately want you to go to.
Yeah.
Like Google jumped the gun on that one.
Okay.
I don't know if they have the processing power to stream it to you. I guess why wouldn't you be able to mod?
Well, who are you getting the mods from if everybody's streaming?
Well,
the mod is usually you downloading it and putting it in.
No, but if Xbox is hosting mods, that's one thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, they would have to agree to host the mods from the community, but then who's doing the mods? It's got to be a PC gamer or a PC developer.
Well, if they want to be serious about PCs, like they can't cut out mods. I mean, that would eviscerate their games.
But the PC gamer, I think, if you look at it, the PC gaming crowd is a lot smaller than the console and casual gamer. And the casual gamer is what Game Pass targets. It's the person that doesn't want to have to do any investigation, just have a curated library ready to go at all times. Kind of like the Apple Arcade consumer. The Game Pass does compete with Apple Arcade because of the casual service aspect.
Yeah.
And having a streaming device would put them directly in competition with Apple because now you have a service that's ready to go day one on the console that you've bought, and you can do it anytime, anywhere, wherever you plug this thing into your TV.
And let's be honest, they're going purely cloud gaming in the future. It's not going
Candy
to be
Crush is coming to your TV via Xbox Game Pass.
We're gonna have a HoloLens. You'll be able to do it like in your room.
Look at any wall and play
100%.
Candy Crush.
But no, I mean, I just think it's going to be negative. As a gamer, if your primary gaming is on the cloud through Game Pass and Microsoft,
Mine never will be.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like if that's who you are, you're not going to be viewed as a gamer who they're selling anything to. You're going to be kind of siloed away from the overall game market. More than you currently are with the way consoles are, I think.
Now, you need a lot better infrastructure in your local area to provide, like ISPs need to be faster. You have to have the infrastructure of like a server farm somewhere near you. And you have to have a good internet connection in your own house. So the infrastructure depends on the consumer, the provider, and the developer / publisher like Microsoft in order for this service to work correctly in all households. That is an ideal situation that doesn't exist in most places.
Well, Chris, I think you got to realize though that they're looking purely at Netflix's market base, and they just want to take, if they could just take the same market share that Netflix has with how many customers they have, I think they would be more than happy to say we don't care about the rural person who doesn't
No,
have good.
that's not what I'm saying. I mean, there are plenty of cities right now that don't have that connection.
I know, but I think they're just looking at it from the standpoint of where is Netflix successful? How many customers do they have, and people are happy with it? Let's make that our model for gaming.
Do you think
I don't
ultimately
think
Xbox is not going PC?
I think they're going pure streaming as a service. I don't think they're going to necessarily even make that gaming PC concept.
Actually, you know what? I think Xbox is just hitting all markets. You got a console, and you got streaming, and I think they'll also have a PC. I think they'll have all three.
Yeah,
And
but it's not going to be
everybody
geared
everywhere all the
towards.
time.
I don't think it's going to be geared towards gaming.
I think it
it's
will.
just-
Why not?
because I think the focus is going to be that. I think the focus is going to be exactly how they treat the Surface right now.
The
Surface
desk
Book.
box.
No, look at the pull up the Surface Book Pro. Not the Pro. Is it the Surface Book or what is the? It's the one that's got the weird hinge on it. They
Yeah, my friend's got
advertise
that
it.
one.
They advertise it as being great for gaming. It's just going to be like that. It's going to be an extra page when you pull it up and you see how they market it. It's just going to be like that for whatever small little cheaper entry level desktop they do. It's going to have the same exact attention to gaming that thing has. And the whole focus is going to be Xbox cloud streaming with Game Pass.
Yep, probably.
Think so?
Yeah, no, pull it up and look at the details of that thing, and you'll see that they have a whole section about the gaming.
All right, let's see. Let's find out. Whoa, no. Go away, weird sign me up thing. I don't want you. All right, there we go.
It's currently out of stock. I kind of wanted to buy one of these in the past because
Maybe you should have bought one already then.
I know.
32 gigs. Actually, 32 gigs of RAM, it probably could do a little bit of gaming.
No, it's actually capable. It's very capable, and I actually really like it because
if it can run 3 screens at once, yeah.
Dude, this thing is highly capable. It's a very good device, but you're also paying for it with the price.
Oh yeah, no, these are expensive.
Yeah.
Look at there's the Surface line of devices right there.
Yeah, and they're going to eventually. I'm surprised they haven't made a legit phone yet for it.
They started to make there was a Surface phone. Tech specs.
1 second. If you kept scrolling, I don't know if it was. They used to have a whole little section
right here.
about
Next gen pro-grade performance for graphic design, app development, video and social content creation, and the best, most immersive gaming on a Surface laptop.
Yeah, they've been advertising it, but I think in the overview it actually had a screen where it shows you like playing
I might have missed
Forza.
Oh,
They used to have a whole thing about where you could play, like they showed you playing Forza on it. Especially if you look at the video for it, it's definitely in the video.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna watch the video on stream.
That's fair. I'm just saying it was in the video in one of the videos previously where they did they showed you playing Forza, and it was in the advertisements at least early on. They were really trying to say this is the one that if you're a gamer, you can play it.
If the Xbox Series S can play Forza, then no doubt a Surface laptop can play Forza.
I'm not saying Yes, I'm not saying it's a highly intensive piece of shit game or anything. I'm just saying I'm not a big Forza fan, but
I'm not a Forza fan either, but that game's beautiful.
I'm just saying that they've advertised it. This thing specifically has been advertised towards gamers in the past. And I think that's what, if anything, that's going to be the kind of route that they take. It's not the focus, but it's going to be highly implied to anybody who's looking for a gaming device that this is something you should highly consider.
Okay, how about this then? How about the Xbox Surface X?
Why would they have Xbox Surface X?
Or it could just be the Surface X.
That's what I said earlier.
Yes,
So-
it is.
Is it exactly what you said? I'm sorry
Yes.
if I missed that.
When I said they're going to roll it into the Surface lineup, I said that they'll make it like the Surface X or something.
Oh, I missed that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you're like, no, they're just going to make it the Xbox something. I'm like, I don't. They're not going to.
Maybe the
Xbox
Surface
series.
desktop would be a thing.
That's what I said.
Or we say like Surface desktop with Xbox or something like that.
Yeah, it's going to be like using Xbox technology. We now have the Surface X, and it's going to be a small little desktop that's like, that's really small. It's going to be like probably.
They'll have the backwards compatibility program built in.
But they'll bring back the original Xbox boot up screen with like the nuclear power.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
They're going to zoom out. It's going to be like the motherboard
but
or
it's
something.
going to be completely diskless.
Oh yeah,
that's the
true.
thing I have
No,
to
it won't be diskless.
Yes, it will be.
They'll have a diskless version.
Not a single Surface has a disk drive.
No, they'll have a disk version. There's
not
no
a single
reason
Surface
to cut.
has a disk drive.
Bro, backwards compatibility program matters, and people are using it. It will
Game
exist
Pass.
with a disk tab.
Game Pass.
You are crazy if
Game
you
Pass.
think that Xbox will ever have a console without a disc as the only option.
Game Pass.
Either that or they will offer an optional disk drive for backwards compatibility program.
Bro, okay. You're telling me this. That this is the same company that said always on.
Bro,
always
it ain't
connected
happening.
to the internet. You think it's that far-fetched that they get rid of the disk drive altogether and you're forced to be always on by default?
Well, that's when I stopped buying Xbox.
I won't
just
buy an
saying,
Xbox if they do that. No way.
They're going towards cloud streaming of games. Why would they have a disk drive?
For the good, there will be a version of the Xbox desktop, whatever that may be, that has a disk drive.
I won't be able to play my
will
Zoo Tycoon
exist.
desk.
Will, what do you think? Do you think they'll actually have the disk drive, or do you think they're going to full-on commit?
I think they're eventually going to
streaming?
cut it, yeah. And I think that's the way the industry is going. And that's, like I said, that's when I stopped buying.
I won't be buying anything Xbox or PlayStation or Nintendo if they kill off physical games.
So here's the thing.
I will be done.
Chris.
That's it.
I'm
done.
Now, I'm going to propose one scenario to you.
I'll be all Steam all the time.
I'm going to propose one scenario to you. They merge Xbox into the Surface lineup. They create the Surface X, a PC tower based off of Xbox technology. They take that, and that is now their all-digital edition. It currently launches while the current generation of Xbox is out there. It's just purely optional, similar to how the Sony Digital Edition is available. And then when you get to the next gen, it's purely Surface X, and that's it. They're going to. They already
tried this twice now. They had the all digital edition Xbox
The SAD.
series. It was literally the Xbox One S all digital edition. So it was the Xbox SAD.
Okay, but I'm saying if you.
It was the dumbest marketing acronym they could have come up with.
If they merge it to the Surface lineup, the Surface lineup does not have a disk drive.
Yeah, but you can add a disk drive to a Surface thing, so you can get an optional disk drive. If they still allow you to use the backwards compatibility program with an optional disk drive, then I'm all in. That's fine. If they don't allow that,
they might let you do that.
If they don't allow that and they kill off the disk drive, I'm done.
I hear you saying your dreams and hopes and wishes. I don't hear you actually warp gaming this to see what you think they'll actually do.
I doubt that they will kill the option to use a disk drive on a computer. That would be stupid. If you kill off peripherals for a desktop,
it's not going to come standard.
PCs.
It's not going to come standard.
Like, Andrew, how many peripherals work on Windows?
Yeah, but I'm telling you that.
So they will apply the backwards compatibility program because not many people will take advantage of it. It won't cost them anything to do it. Why would they kill off a program that gives them a lot?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying they're not going.
Stupid.
Okay, I'm saying you're going to have to buy the disk drive separately.
Sure, fine. As long as they keep the backwards compatibility program alive and active,
But that's
I am
not
fine
the,
with that.
That's not the topic here. I'm saying they're going to kill the disk drive as standard a thing in it. They're going. Look at the Surface. Would you ever have thought that a laptop would not have a disk drive?
Yeah, the one I have right
5
now
years
doesn't
ago?
have it. I actually had to buy a detachable one.
I
Right.
bought a highly customized laptop from a previous gen with a customized motherboard that has a disk drive built in for my wife because she wanted a disk drive in her laptop. So yes, they still exist, and you can.
No,
still
I'm
buy
saying
them.
though, but like laptops no one ever would have imagined having a laptop without a disk drive like 8 years ago, even 5 years ago.
I still don't.
No one would imagine cell phones not having buttons.
Right. So it's like
I still have buttons. No, I don't have. I do have some buttons.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're a liar.
I have buttons. I got a power on and off button.
Oh
I got
my
a volume
gosh.
up and down.
You getting technical as shit with it.
There are buttons.
But I'm just okay. Will understands what I'm saying.
Yes.
You're just being difficult.
I you know what? All of my PCs still have disk drives. I got a Blu-ray drive on this PC tower I've got.
He's not saying this year. He's saying eventually.
I'm joking around, Will.
I can't tell with you, man.
And I will continue to buy disk drives until disk drives are literally unable to be purchased.
Yes. Same.
Because it's worth having a disk drive. All right. I will say, I think Xbox Series S choosing to disallow you from plugging in a peripheral like a disk drive was a mistake. I think that Xbox should have allowed even if they had a customized branded Xbox disk drive, I think that would have made a lot more people okay with the Xbox Series S.
Oh, I think they're actually making that. I think I saw a patent
Really?
for it. Yeah.
Because that would lead me to believe that Xbox is legitimately going PC now instead of in the future.
Dude, I don't think it. Will, are you in any doubt that they're going PC now?
No.
I think we're all in agreement. They kind of are.
Yep.
Add-on rumors.
Well,
See,
it's
I know.
As a PC company making an Xbox, why wouldn't they just wrap it back?
Oh man, this is a really, really recent one. A new patent suggests Microsoft designing a system that would allow the Xbox Series S to play physical game discs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would be interesting. All right, so I think we're nearing the end of this discussion. We've kind of veered off the beaten path here quite a bit, but I think we can all agree Xbox is headed towards PC in the future, likely on the Surface line, but also probably some kind of Xbox branded version at some point. And also there'll be a high-end Xbox version to go along with the low-end Surface version, or it'll be a low-end Xbox version to go on with the high-end Surface version. Who knows? One or the other, and the Xbox will allow more PC features. PlayStation unlikely to remove the console from their lineup, but also are embracing PC with the PlayStation line of games on Steam. Steam is pushing things in a different direction, especially Linux. Linux is going to be much bigger after the Steam Deck launches, gets to everybody that wants one. And Linux has already proven to be capable of playing lots of PC games, which is really cool in my opinion. And then Nintendo, they'll never go PC unless they die. Like the company just straight up dies.
And we didn't really mention it, but do you think that the gaming laptop dies in favor of the tablet? Because that's what the Steam Deck and Nintendo Switch is kind of implying to me. That the dedicated PC like gaming laptop is kind of on the outs.
I think a dedicated laptop for gaming has been on the outs for a while, unless you're a keyboard and mouse type.
Yeah.
If you like your keyboard and mouse, you're going to stick with the gaming laptop. But you can always hook up a gaming, like Steam Deck has not convinced me that the keyboard and mouse crowd will ever get it. If you're a keyboard and mouse gamer, you're probably not getting a Steam Deck. But it will convince some console gamers like myself to get that instead of a next-gen console.
I think if you're that dedicated, though, you're just going to have an actual desktop instead of that you can easily customize over the course of your life instead of having some expensive gaming laptop.
Yeah, I'd say the gaming laptop crowd has been slowly dwindling and dying for a long time with the advent of the iPad and gaming on the iPad being actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hate on my gaming laptop, man.
I'm not saying that nobody buys them. I'm just saying that unless it's a dual purpose thing, like you want to buy the laptop for the portability of Office and those kinds of things, and yeah,
Totally
of course you're going to buy a
why I
laptop.
haven't,
Buy a laptop over game like a Steam Deck or anything else like that. But if all you're looking for is portable gaming, yeah, gaming laptops are basically already on the way out. Unless you want a big screen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're probably, like Andrew said, All of the things that I'm saying you might get a laptop for are the same reason you would get a desktop instead.
I mean, Nintendo is not going to have a PC. They're just going to probably keep doing what they're doing. That's why I'm saying
with tablets and that.
Yeah, that's why I think you're just going to have the docking station concept and the replacement of like the gaming laptop.
Well, Nintendo has always dominated portables. Giving the portable the ability to play on TV was a dream come true with a lot of their previous consoles. Like, for example, the Game Boy Player on the GameCube. That was a super awesome peripheral. Or like the Super Game Boy on the Super Nintendo. Or even the game cartridge add-on for the N64 where you can play your Pokemon games on the Pokemon Tower, plays Pokemon Stadium. Super cool idea.
I mean, with the advent of the Switch, they finally combined all three of their elements that were the strong like selling elements. The graphics, I get like the TV gameplay with friends paired with the strong portability that they always had with the handhelds, paired with all of the games now able to be found on one place with the same fidelity.
That's a good thing. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So it's like they combined those three elements, and that's why I think
it's a super winning formula.
Yeah, and I don't see them going back. Obviously, the 3DS is like the DS category is gone. It's all Switch console now.
Well, when you can design one game across the board for all of your consoles you currently have on the market, that's a winning formula.
And you can now market the singular device to every element of your audience.
Look at the iPhone. Apple has a winning device because they market one device across the board. It might be different form factors, but it's one device.
Yeah.
Or like the iPad. iPad has its own dedicated user base now too. That's one device across the entire market, and they've dominated tablet space. Nintendo is dominating portable gaming because you can use it for so many things.
Right.
One device, multiple versions, but one device across the board.
Yep.
That's why I'm convinced that Microsoft's going to go merge Xbox into the Surface. I think they've seen it work, and with how Nintendo has merged their audiences, I think they're going to go that route. They're wanting to be the Netflix of gaming with their services, and now they have a clear path forward, and I think they're going to do that merge.
It's definitely something they want. They want to dominate streaming for gaming. They want to dominate the services of gaming. They want to dominate where you're playing your games and basically dominate the publisher space too. They don't want you to be looking for games elsewhere.
Yep.
And I think they also view it as a way to combat Apple more effectively.
They want to combat Apple, Steam, and all other platforms in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
Game Pass is essentially in competition with Apple Arcade, Steam, PlayStation, Nintendo, everybody at once. And it doesn't really know what it wants to be, so it's just everything.
Well, and the Surface lineup was them trying to compete with Apple's Mac.
And they've done it successfully. The Surface is one of the best.
I like the Surface.
Products.
I'm a fan of Apple products in general, but I like the way that they've gone about with the Surface more. So it's like that's why I see the Surface X being more of a thing than anything.
Yep.
Because it'll make it where the overall lineup is stronger because you're going to bring gamers into the Surface lineup with the Surface X if they make it. Then when it comes to getting your laptop for work or something, you're already in that ecosystem. You're already in that mindset of this is the style. I have that Windows symbol on all of my products already. Why don't I buy the Surface laptop or the Surface Book or whatever you're trying to get? So it's like I see it as them trying to have an overall marketing strategy that benefits everything. Because right now Xbox doesn't benefit Windows. It really doesn't. It's a standalone product, and this allows them to tie it together. How Nintendo kind of tied their whole lineup together now.
And Nintendo it was a bold strategy that paid off.
It was the obvious strategy though, with how
much they've dominated.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. And Microsoft wants to tie everything they don't do together. Obvious strategy would be to tie Xbox and PC together so that you're getting a Windows machine that plays Xbox games. So all of this, everything that they do benefits from the singular product line.
And when you think about it too, Microsoft's biggest weakness until the Surface was that they haven't really had a good product control for their OS.
It's kind of like how Google does the Pixel line and kind of showboats Android with the Google Pixel line. Microsoft gets to showboat Windows with the Surface line and say, hey, this is the best way to do it. Everybody else follow the suit and figure out how to do it the same way or innovate in a different way.
Yeah, and just think if they had taken the Xbox 360 and it was, let's say they had the Surface lineup back then, and this 360 was actually part of the Surface lineup. Think of how many more Surfaces they could potentially have sold because they already were one of the favored devices for kids across the country.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of direct and indirect advertising all in one for the rest of their products because you'll just have that Surface mindset already.
I'm just going to highlight Indie Timmy's comment real quick. This is one thing hurting PC gaming. Shut up, PC gaming doesn't take over. I'm poor. LMAO. Yeah. And that's where I'm at too, is like I can get a fully built console and play every game I want in a specific platform of my choice when I buy a console over a PC. Now, PC gives you lots more versatility, but we've already kind of beat that dead horse to a pulp. So if you want to know more, watch the rest of the podcast or listen to it, whichever. But I am out of things. So unless you guys have anything else you would like to say.
No,
I think Andrew's right. I'm good.
Surface X, here we come. All right.
Yep.
Well, as always, I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
And I'm Andrew.
And we will see you
on the next CHRILLCAST. Bye, guys.
Yeah, bye.